Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here in Winnipeg, where we get to see the All-Star Game. I'm Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing better tonight. You left me alone with the rookie yesterday. I mean, I was told I couldn't even make fun of him as much as I make fun of you because, you know, being a bully and all that, some things the poor armadillo would have. They didn't want him running away crying after flying all the way out after the FBA D League game. But how about you? Where were you last night? Were you helping out Terry O'Toole with his little problem?
Oh, no. I've had kind of other businesses with the family and stuff, Bobby and things of that nature. But it's nothing really huge of concern. I am now here, ready to go ahead and cast things
You came for the
now.
best game, obviously here. I mean, you
Quite
were
a,
here. You were here for the dunk contest just a couple days ago. I know you were here.
yeah, I know. I mean, hey, my brother was. Hey, we're all still Canadian here. We can still have some good old conversations. You know, he's also in town in the stand somewhere, rooting for these guys.
Well, yeah, I assume that even though Alaska doesn't have anyone in the All Star game this year, I'm sure he still has a couple friendly competitors he's looking out for. Anyone, as we start to break down, looking at the teams, anyone you're excited to see here tonight?
Actually, I'm fairly excited to see Francois Martineau, as we've mentioned in the Sports Den before, that he was one of the guys that could have a possibility of being on this roster. With him having his first appearance in the All Star game, it's going to be great to see what he can do.
Yeah, and I think my big excitement is to finally see Jake Turner and Daniel Kuvianik not on the same side in a sports den. So we will get to see who comes out on top in that little matchup there. And I say little, I really mean the battle of the 8 footers. So
Yeah, that's
um,
very little, Ryan.
yeah, I mean Jake may be 10 feet. Who knows? He claims to be taller than 8 foot. Obviously, I think after the East clobbered the West last night, maybe the West All Stars are perhaps looking to show off a bit here and kind of show up the East, even though in the past, just because one conference ends up winning both does not necessarily mean they end up going on to win the championship for their conference.
Oh yeah, I think considering the fact that with the All Star game, it's all about fun. It's really all about enjoying each other's time, showing off their athleticism a little bit, maybe do a couple of flexes here and there. But other than that, it's the All Star game. There's no,
Don't get hurt.
yeah, it's literally. I'm pretty sure that if you're thinking of looking for a defensive heavy game, this is not the game for you. A lot of guys are going to be pretty reserved for the most part. Just
I think we'll see some heavy offense here. I mean, we might see a couple players, depending on who they're matched up against, maybe go above 50% on defense. So,
yeah, probably.
so with that said, if you had to pick between the East and the West, which side do you think has the higher ceiling in terms of talent?
I think it's quite honestly don't want to like show support of the conference that I used to play for a lot more, but I have to go with the West. I mean, there's so much talent out in the West that you really can't pinpoint of like who is the top guy in the West. Well, for the Eastern Conference, even though I'm not gonna knock any of the guys who have been in the All Star game this year, there are definitely some familiar faces, but at the same time, there aren't any that really like stick out as much. Well, you can tell like what's the top heavy of the stars in the East rather than you can in the West.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The West, you could argue, especially since they are the reigning champions, perhaps have a bit of a lean talent. Even though now with Jake Turner sliding on over to the East, you could say the talent distribution has slightly shifted a bit. Even going back to when Lance shifted over to the East from Arizona, we've kind of seen the East slowly start to acquire more and more talent over there. Um, I I want to lean with the West as well, just because again, looking at that starting lineup is quite impressive. But the East is no slouch in itself, considering they host former MVPs in the 2 MVPs in their starting lineup and a Defensive Player of the Year, whereas the West only really houses a Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think there's a single MVP in their starting lineup.
Well, even then, they do have a couple of champions on that team as well on the Western Conference side, and John and Matthew, obviously, and of course, I believe Benjamin Derby has gotten DPOTY, right?
I don't believe so, wrong, actually. But no, let's real quick before the game starts. I think the players are starting to get close to being ready. Any players missing from this All-Star game that shocked you?
Honestly, I'm going to have to lean on Bo Dappermont. I think even though that when it came to the bigs and their concerns, there weren't really a lot to pull out from out on West. We have, of course, we already know about Scoonie Manrid, DQ, and of course Benjamin Derby. Obviously, the clear cut noticeable in the West when it comes to the big furs. But having Bo Dappermont, he had a really, really good season so far. And you can probably put in Zach Tate as well as another surprise.
You could say that, definitely. If you look comparing the East and West, definitely the West probably has a bit more guard focus in terms of who the stars are. Not that the East is much better. They only have one more center in their mix, and that was Tiatera coming in, sliding in at the 12th hour in the last spot. My big shock is Umechi. First time in many seasons we haven't seen him. I think the last time he missed an All-Star game was back when he was playing with Alaska with you.
Yeah, I think maybe a lot of people are I'm not saying that it's the writings on the wall for him, but I think it's one of those situations where they want to see more young stars have an opportunity. And it's not like that him missing this year's All-Star game is going to blemish his legacy as a player. He's done so many things in this league that a lot of players dreamed of doing. And for me, I think that him having that couple of days off just to chillax, maybe go on a little vacation, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the fact that Erik Toivonen is here may be a component in that mix, that the young star definitely probably stole away a few bit of the fans' votes in Baltimore. So can't knock on him there for possibly losing out to the rising star. And like you said, this game does, this All-Star break gives an opportunity for those veteran players that, maybe not necessarily injured, but are kind of nursing some old war wounds, have a chance to kind of prepare for that final half of the season. But it looks like the players are starting to head out onto the court now. Like I said, there's the starting lineup for the West and East. Both sides having a pair of players from the same teams playing against each other, or playing with each other. And the tip-off will go the way of the East. Jake Turner beating out DQ in that regard. Over to Derek Kim. Back to Lance. Shot clock's starting to wind down. He's got to make a decision here. He passes it back out to Kim. And Kim going for the shot actually is going to get fouled by Silvius. Are we sure Lawyer didn't do that?
Well, I mean this
is going to be. Oh no, they're actually saying he was inside the line. Surprise! Not a three-point opportunity. He misses the second free throw. But that brings back our Dakota game where Lawyer 2 fouls beyond the free throw line, and quick block there. Krista going to get blocked, and Lance from beyond the arc is good. Lance, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, even though he failed to once again win the three-point contest, losing in the finals to the fur on the other side, Jonathan Lawyer, and Silvius with the step back gets the first points for the West.
Yeah, we'll have to say that three-point contest was very close in that final round. It could have been anyone's.
Yeah, obviously 4 players, the 4 finalists are playing here tonight and starting, so keep an eye out on them and see who really maybe carries over. And They're going to call a 3-second violation on Turner there, actually.
Okay, can I just say, I understand the refs are trying to do their job to keep everybody safe, but it's the All-Star game. Why are we calling fouls this early in the game?
It's turnover, unfortunately, and Jake Turner in transition pulls it up after the block against Krista. That is good. Krista,
Yes.
another great three-point shooter, former champion of the three-point contest, did not make it back to the finals this year to defend her title. Silvius going up against Lance here, calling for the screen and shoots over Sterling, but no good there.
Yeah, it was a tough shot being able to get that one down.
And now Turner leading the possession, but gives over to Lance. Now, if that's not a scary sight, an 8-foot Fox taking the ball and dribbling it up the court. And almost picked off there, but Sterling able to get the ball back. Passing over to his teammate Kim, who's starting to run out of shot clock. He's got to make a decision here. And DQ jumps too early, but air ball. A little too much pressure there against the Polar Bear.
Yeah, and that's going to be a shot clock violation, so...
Would you like them not to call that too?
Well, that I can understand.
It's like, oh no, shot clock violation. Just bump it up 5 seconds. They're fine. But Krista going for 3 here off the back iron, no good. Scoonie Barrett with the offensive rebound. And up against Kim is able just to spin around and lay it in.
Yeah, very easy shot opportunity for him. The size difference was just way too vast for Kim to do anything.
Yeah, and that's another matchup, Scoonie versus Sterling. There was a bit of a chippy attitude back and forth earlier this season as we see Sterling answering back with a short-range bucket of his own. And the pace is picking up here. The East up to 8 points. The West still down by 4 here. Maybe going for a 3-point shot here would be a good idea, but you have 3 of the best 3-point shooters in the league on the starting lineup for the West.
Hey, you can go ahead and toss it to the winner. Shoot. And
This time on Scoonie, an offensive 3-second violation. Well, at least they evened it out there for you in terms of turnovers. And that'll give the East a good opportunity here to pack on some more points. Just who will it go to? Again, they're playing almost a 2-guard setup with Kim making the All-Star game as a shooting guard despite normally being a point guard. And
yeah, I will. We get to see a miss there. And when it comes to the All-Star game, you do get to see a lot of people kind of out of position with what they're used to. As you said, with Derek Kim playing shooting guard and Jonathan Lawyer playing small forward, 2 positions that they're not really that much used to playing in.
I mean, didn't Jonathan play it for 2 years in San Jose before moving to Dakota?
Yeah, he has, but it didn't really fit his play style as well.
Nope, and we see another package skit from Derek Kim there. He's starting off well here early. That's, I think, his 4th or 5th point because he missed that free throw earlier.
Maybe he's trying to show himself up with saying that, hey, even though I came in 4th in the finals of the 3-point contest, doesn't mean that I don't know how to shoot.
Yeah, maybe trying to show off that it should have been him at the starting point guard position rather than Lance. That's a kind of interesting thing here. We have a bit of a height disadvantage for the East in the backcourt at least, but again, Derek Kim taking all the shots for the East here to start the game.
Yeah, right now Kim just pretty much being the main go-to. We see a reach-in foul by Lance Wildfire. That's his first personal of the game.
Yeah, getting a little aggressive there going for that reach-in, but plenty of time on the shot clock. And the quick pass from Lawyer down to Silvius in the paint. That was a good drawn-up play between 2 teammates. You can tell there's some chemistry there. He knew exactly where he was going to break to after the inbound.
Yeah, after the 2 of them have been really glued together very well throughout their time in Dakota. It's not a surprise that we're going to see that in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Sterling and Kim themselves, see what kind of chemistry they can bring to this All-Star game. That's usually one of the challenges for these players is they're forced to mesh with players that they normally don't mesh with, so any pairs of teammates on the floor can do some special things. As Silvius could drive in, giving over a DQ over Sterling this time is able to make it work. Jake was a little too far away to have an impact on it. And the West still down by 4 here. They're keeping it close.
Yeah, and DQ is something that my own brother Bobby is looking out for, having a lot of love for the Polar Bear. Both of them had a pretty good matchups back in the day.
Yeah, speaking of the polar bear, how many years do you think he has left in the league, considering he started his career so early with knee injuries, and you know how that can be a career killer long term?
Yeah, I think he still have a couple of good years left before we actually eventually start seeing his decline, and we get to see Silvius going for a 3. He makes it in.
Yeah, nice
Only
screen
down
from
by
that
3 for the
polar bear,
West.
actually.
But yeah, considering the fact that since he is probably the franchise guy right now, the team leader for Seattle, they only have probably a couple of, if they do sign him back in the offseason, in the upcoming offseason, they will have to take their time with him and make those decisions of whether or not he should be earning that big time money.
Yeah, that was even my question. With a couple of these players in the All-Star game heading to free agency this year, how much can they really commit to him? Is Wildfire going to get blocked by Silvius there? A little slow on the shot, and the Weasel came in from behind. Cresta, the step-back jumper, is good after rattling in. But with a player like DQ, obviously the best player on the team right now for Seattle, but going into free agency, is it worth investing longer than 2 or 3 years with him if it means that in those last few years he might start to degrade in terms of playing ability? And Sterling,
Ooh.
dunk contest winner, going simple there, but slamming it down with some authority.
Yeah, that's something that we have to keep an eye out for, the dunk contest winner. I'm pretty sure he's ready to show out his strut and showing why he won this year.
Well, to be fair, we have a multitude of dunk contest winners. As Jake Turner going to get the rebound, going all the way from Jake back to Jake, winning it his rookie year, and intercepted. It's going to be a fast break. Silvius and Lawyer. Silvius ends up taking the shot, no good, and Turner gets the rebound. But Turner obviously winning in 2015. Adam Tavella in 2016, 2017 Lance Wildfire, Leon Delmont last year, 2018, and Sterling Bingsing this year. So the last 5 dunk contest winners are here tonight.
And it makes it a little bit funny that some of those players are coming out from the East, excuse me.
Yeah,
so
almost 3 out of 5 of them coming out from the East. And Sterling gonna fight down the post against Scooney. Off the glass is good. That's 8 points now. Perfect from the floor here tonight is the Polecat.
Yeah, right now he's taking a good advantage of the paint. Showing a little bit his strut against Scooney. As you said, both of them had a little bit of a rivalry going on Twitter earlier in the season.
Yep, and Silvius against Lawyer. Not Lawyer, against Wildfire. I don't know why I say Lawyer.
Lawyer, Wildfire, interesting.
I mean, they're both 3-point shooters. I'm still thinking about that 3-point contest coming down to a 1-point win for Lawyer. Derek Kim up to 7 points himself here. Giving it to Turner, who gets blocked.
Ooh.
But he gets his own miss, but misses the second one. TQ. Normally that would have been sent into the crowd, but couldn't even get that much behind it. And Lawyer in transition is good.
And those will be his first points of the game. But yeah, DQ just showing out what he considers the little fox.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel bad for some of the other players. I mean, if poor Lance or Krista, again, between the two of them, when they're going up for a block like that, we might have a squished rabbit and fox there. And Silvius with the tip. Wildfire had to take a full half-court shot. Almost makes it. But Turner with the offensive rebound and the putback.
As you see, both of them, the East is taking some full advantage of the paint so far.
And now Lawyer's starting to step up. That's a 3 from him.
Yeah, right now we get to see the 3-point winner showing his strut finally. I believe he has 5 points in the game right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing they're going to have to keep an eye on, whoever's marking him. Again, that's just, ooh, and Silvius, good eyes, pawing that off as it, in transition. Going to give it to Lawyer on the left sideline for 3 is good. The West now with their first lead of the game.
Well, we should have saw this coming. We get to see the East All-Stars take a quick timeout. But yeah, we should have seen this coming. The West has a lot of 3-point ability on their side of the court. So they were going to get cooking at some point in this game. while the East obviously taking advantage of the paint themselves. So right now we're getting to see two different ways of getting to the basket and scoring.
Yeah, and we're going to see substitutions for both teams. Perhaps that timeout being used to get some players off the floor. So it's been a long time since the last dead ball, and we're going to see Jake still in the game, elevating. Jake definitely showing off this game, and now over to Lawyer. Lawyer's, he's still feeling it, and he is. Even with the timeout, that's not going to slow him down. That's his third straight three, so he's up to 11 points here tonight.
Yeah, right now the Cat's been feeling it right at this current moment. We can see Kenny with the rock.
Yeah, coming off the bench, giving down to his teammate Turner. And again, that kind of chemistry, knowing how Jake was going to respond after giving it to him. A nice give and go, drive to the basket. No one on the floor right now can really match Jake right now, it seems. And Aditya for three off the back, no good. Delmont with the rock. Going to quick pass over to Turner, who's just going to take the shot from mid-range and makes it work. Jake is hitting it from everywhere.
Yeah, it seems to me that Jake Turner has really been one of the main scorers, as we get to see Lawyer with another three, but not making it there. But Derby gets the rebound. Another more teammate response.
And Aditya driving into the paint, steps back. This time it's good. We'll have to see how the Derby-Jake matchup goes. I think Jake is going to be feeling it and probably challenge him quite a bit, the two players from Great Britain. As Leon takes up himself off the glass.
Ooh. That was a good drive there. Can't go wrong with that. Show a nice speed and power.
Yeah, and just getting around two defenders there. Lucky no offensive blocking call on Lawyer, missing another close three. He's still going for it despite the misses now. And in transition, Jake to Delmont is good, and Yves getting called for the shooting foul, so an and one opportunity. That's probably one of the safest passes he could do at 8 foot to the 6'11" point guard. Not many players are going to jump up and try and intercept that. And with that, Tiater will come in for Jake. He'll get a few minutes to rest here. And look at this scoring, 31-35, and we're just about to end the first quarter.
Yeah, when it comes to the All-Star game, that's something that shouldn't be surprising to anyone, but still very high scoring.
And, burn as much shot clock as they can, and actually going to reach in to Marcus. Going to give him a free full 10 seconds now. Won't even have an opportunity to take a shot, the East, so it'll be the West with the last possession here, assuming they play it smart. Julian giving it down to Ditya. 3 seconds left. Just going to spot up, shoot. Is good. So 1 second left. Not much of opportunity to score here. But with that, the first quarter comes to an end. 35 for the East. 33 for the West.
Yeah,
Go on ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I will have to say that even though we get to see some substitutions, seeing Aditya representing the Spectrums, the only player coming out from that team, having a couple of good solid shots in the mid-ranger.
Yeah, and Yves from Winnipeg for long range is good, pulling the West ahead once again. Delmont going to bring it up for the East. Playing isolation, just dribbling his way to the post. He's already made it to the basket and just lays it up and in at that point.
Yeah, right now the second-year player is just showing how much power that he really has.
And, of course, for the West, probably going to keep with the beyond the arc, but loses the ball. Kusic, the other rookie of the year last year, going to give it to Tiaterra. Tiaterra laying it up and in on the fast break and fouled from behind by Tavella. Didn't want to commit to a hard foul there, so send her the line for an and one opportunity. Bangor and BOV with 6 players on the East, making up half of the All-Star roster. Do you agree with that selection by the fans?
Honestly, I'm not really too surprised about it, considering that both of these teams are heavily favored out of the East, and with the fact that both that all of those players have some sort of activity amongst them, especially on Twitter.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely a little surprised we didn't see anyone come out from Williamsburg, the other team that's dominating in the East, but I guess you could argue they have 5 chefs in the kitchen versus 2 or 3, and no good from the West there. And quick pass to Delmont in the post. He's going to get fouled on his way up, and that's another and one opportunity for him. And again, just looking at the roster for the All-Star game, the only players from a single team are Akiak Pratt, Narcissa Cassius, Eric Toivonen, and actually I can't even say Akiak Pratt because Edwin and Akiak are both from Lorain. So almost the entire East is made up of 4 or 5 teams here tonight. And blocked! Ooh. Huge! Aditya, thankfully not smacked back in his face, and they will keep possession though, but huge block from Toivonen there.
Yeah, the young caribou, but the young reindeer doing some fantastic jobs.
Might as well be a caribou at that point. And that was a shot attempt, I think, but DeMarcus going to get called for touching the ball while standing out of bounds, so the West will keep possession, even though I'm assuming that was a shot attempt that just didn't go up very high. So I wonder what the statisticians will say about how they count that or not.
Well, it's going to be a shot clock violation either way, since they only have like 0.1 seconds on the shot clock.
In theory, you could tap it in, but that's not what they went with. They actually tried to do a full shot there, and that's too slow. Delmont with the ball. Getting rid of Kasper Kusick. Back to Kusick. No good, but Tia Tarek flying with the offensive rebound. The pump fake is good. Easy layup there for her. The East pulling ahead here, 9 points ahead now. And the West has to call timeout to maybe try and figure out a way to slow them down and get back in this game. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they maybe bring in Lawyer or Silvius again just to start shooting from beyond the arc a bit more.
Yeah, we'll have to pretty much see how well the Western All-Stars had to respond to the East. Good old power, especially within the paint, because that's really been their bread and butter all game.
Yeah, and actually the West are going to answer back with a play of their own. Julian in the paint, not his usual spot, but he makes it work with the contact, and the one opportunity is good. So you're right there. Between Toivonen, Delmont, and Turner, the East definitely can power into the paint there.
And you can't forget about Leon Delmont as well, with the fact of how well he can drive into the basket, considering his size going up against these much smaller point guards.
Yeah, and Tiatera with the contact. That's Davila's 3rd foul, and Tiatera is lighting it up coming off as the 12th for the East. She misses her free throw, but that's her 6th point here. And Julian in transition, gonna go for a 3 off the right side of the hoop, no good. And Kasper will bring it up for the West. And quick pass to Delmont in the post again. Just fast plays here for both teams.
Yeah, the young Cougar just doing everything that he can to just pretty much show his offensive ability here.
Yeah, and yet he's the worst rated defensive player in the league, I believe.
Then again, that's to think about that.
Yeah, and Kasper in transition, you can go for the 3-pointer. I mean, that's the thing with Bangor. I think the statistics show they have one of the worst defenses in the league, but they just keep outscoring their opponents. That's how they win. Have to see
sometimes a good offense can be a good defense.
Yeah, well, what did they say? Defense wins championships?
Fair enough, fair enough.
It did. Again, to Vela from beyond the arc is good. Keeping it to 10 now. And Kenny going to slink up the court, but gives up to Delmont. Looks like they want to set up an isolation as they're clearing the paint for him. He just does a teardrop over Derby. They're just letting the rookie do whatever he wants, or the sophomore player do whatever he wants right now.
Yeah, right now Adi has a huge task ahead of him.
Giving over to Yves. Bad matchup against Toivonen. How is he going to get this shot up? He doesn't. Gives it up. And back to Aditya from the corner. No good from beyond the arc.
That was actually pretty well defended by the East team.
And now Kenny back to Delmont. Even if he had missed it, Tia was in the perfect position for yet another offensive rebound, but no need to clean up there. And Aditya looking for something to get started here, trying to give it up to someone. Tavella for beyond the arc. Rattles out, no good, but Derby somehow gets a hold of the offensive board, and Julian answers from beyond the arc there.
Yeah, Derby using his pure strength and athleticism to pretty much just yank it from all the other defenders that are right in front of him.
Yeah, and again, Leon not even bothering to pass the ball there. And the West will call timeout after that. Maybe want to bring in someone else to defend the Cougar if he decides to stay in. Again, that'd be a nightmare situation as him and Turner both on the floor for the East.
And we're going to see a large sub from the West, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same for both sides, actually.
Yes, they're going to call an out of bounds, actually, on the West. So the East will just get the ball now, and that's going to put them in an odd situation.
Yeah, it seems to me that the West are playing a little bit too relaxed right now.
Yeah,
And once
especially
again,
with Wildfire just answering with a – he's good from beyond the arc. He's good from in the post. You can't really beat the bunny. Misha now forced to pull up. Gives a Scooney for three. Scooney going for three-pointers is good, apparently, here in the All-Star game.
hey, you know what? I can't get mad at that. If you want to try it out, try it out. It's the All-Star game.
Yeah, let Jake start hucking some three-pointers up there. And nice play from Leon to Lance there on the drive to the basket. Lance having to do a bit of a spin move to lay it up there between two defenders, but he's a slippery bunny.
Yeah, even though the two of them have had their differences throughout them both, they both were able to work very well together on the court.
I think you got two Type A personalities there, both wanting to be in the same position on a team that there's not enough room for. And Leon getting a paw in that there, going to count as a block, and going to bring it up for the court, giving it to Sterling. Over to Wildfire. Wildfire back to Tia. Griga can shoot from beyond the arc too, so keep an eye on him. That's four players potentially for the East that can shoot from beyond the arc, but again, Leon just going to step into the paint and loses his defender there. That's like 22 points now here tonight.
Yeah, right now Delmont has literally have been the offense for the East, scoring a third for them, but you know the West trying to find a way to climb back into this game.
I mean, that tells you every stat you need to see. 81% field goal percentage from the East. They might as well not miss, and Sylvia's going to go for a reach in here just to try and get a turnover, but no good. Griga over to Turner. Turner intercepted by Sylvius. Chance for the West here in transition. Maxwell from the left sideline, no good. Turner will get the rebound. And again, now speed the other way. Sterling driving over Scooney, but it's no good either. And again, back and forth with some speed here. Both teams might start wearing themselves out if they don't take it down a gear.
Yep.
Ooh, and Misha going for the dunk, and Akiak Pratt going to get called for the foul there.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a little bit of overwhelming going on. Pace being picked up like that.
Yeah, and a foul is a good way to slow it down. It's very easy to, in the competitiveness of the game, get a little too fast, especially in the All-Star game. That's not something you want. That's when you start seeing injuries or over extensions. And Sterling, that's a long two from him. Not his usual range, but he makes it work.
Hey, sometimes you have to give what the defense is giving you, which is quite a lot.
Well, I mean, he'd have obviously winning the dunk contest is known for his close-range shooting ability, so I can't blame them for being a little bit lenient on the perimeter. And Akiak, he hasn't been in for more than a minute, and he's gotten 2 fouls here so far. And the West will actually call a timeout here, maybe looking to sub in another player. But down by 14 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. We already are across the 50-point mark. Do you think we could cross the 100-point before the end of the third quarter for both teams here tonight?
Oh, that's definitely not out of the question. We're going to see Lawyer with a long two, not able to get it down, but Silvius gets the rebound and laying it in.
Yeah, Sterling losing out on the defensive rebound battle with Silvius there is not usual, but I don't think he was expecting the Weasel down low in the post like that. Back to Wildfire, the two matchup there at the point guard position. Back to Wildfire, and Silvius just gave up too much room trying to double team Turner. That's the problem with Turner. He can just draw so much attention away from everyone else on the court. And Silvius from three rattles around and falls in.
That was a good pass there by Martin. Some great, smart play there.
Yeah, good doggo. I mean, he is teammates with good doggo, so maybe it rubs off on him. Even though, don't be surprised if he starts taking some threes. And Sterling from medium range again is good. He is hitting it from everywhere, left side, right side, close. Doesn't matter. Don't be shocked if he takes a three-pointer at this rate.
That'll be the day.
I mean, you say that. It's the All-Star game. Why not, especially if there's a lead? And Francois off the glass is good, laying it up and in. And look at that in transition. 13 more fast break points for the East. Turner over to Pratt. The former Alpha who jumped over to Lorraine. And Silvius blocking Wildfire again there. And Marnu's going to bring it up for the West. Down to Silvius. Could have gone for the shot, but was surrounded by Jake. Not going to be able to get it up. It's all down to Silvius, who has a lane to the basket. The layup is good, and Wildfire will get called for the foul, so an and one opportunity. Brings it back with 2 single digits here.
Yeah, that was an excellent drive there by Silvius, taking advantage of his size against Wildfire. Wildfire didn't really have a lot of choice but to foul him there because the Weasel was just zooming on in.
Yeah, and again, another good pass from Francois, reading that he could throw it over Lance's head and get it to Silvius on the drive. And again, Silvius picking off the pass that was intended for Kim, but he's going to make a pass to Marnu. Marnu gives him an assist, and he gives an assist back. And with that, the West have been on another run here. 16-6 in the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, they're finally being able to use a lot of their perimeter abilities on offense to finally catch up into this game.
And Lawyer with the steal now. He's going to drive it up and could have gone for a layup, but just pulls up as I think he was realizing Narcissa was going to outspeed him there.
But yeah, just like that, the West are only down by 4.
And Turner going to lead the offense from the perimeter over to Sterling, giving him plenty of room to daring him to take a three-pointer. And Lawyer stealing it from Narcissa again. Pass to Marnu. Blocked hard, though. Was that Cassius with the block or Aki? No, that's Akiak with the block. And Jake on the other end going to lay it up and in over DQ.
Now that's one way to answer back after a turnover. Just swatted that out of the air.
And Francois going into the paint. Having to back up as Jake came over to help, but he hesitated long enough that Jake had to consider the fact he was going to pass it, so it became a lot easier of a shot there. Turner intercepted by Marnu. They can close it down to a one-possession game here with a bucket. They're going to give it to Silvius. Reverse layup is good. The backdoor pass from the dog. Again, Marnu showing off a bit of passing skill here that he normally doesn't do, considering he plays shooting guard.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the most underrated abilities in his play. Even though he's very well known of being a shooter, he can pass it a step or two.
Yeah, and Silvius tipping the ball there as a pass to the post. They need to be careful that that's the 3rd or 4th time it's been tipped by one of the West players. With that, the half could come to a close with the West lead if they make a three-pointer here, or they could tie it with a 2. And Marnu inside the three-point line, no good. Jake will get the rebound. Enough time. They're going to bring it down the court. And Akiak, long 3, but no good. With that, the halftime score is 72 East, 70 West. Only a 2-point game here, considering the East were up by, I think at one point, 14 points was their largest lead. They've completely let it slip away here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, what other ways to say? But like, look at the stat sheet right here: 77% field goal percentage for the East. That's pretty unheard of.
I mean, again, all-star game. No one plays defense apparently. But we're going to take a look at the stats here, and obviously I think the field goal percentages are going to be a little out of the world. Looking at the East first, Sterling, 12 points, 6 for 7 with a dunk and 2 assists. Jake Turner already with a double-double at the half, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 12 points, 10 rebounds. Wildfire, 3 assists, 11 points, 5 for 8. He's only taken 2 threes, making 1 and missing the other. And again, Jake with the most misses so far, really, with 6 for 9. Griga has yet to take a shot. Derek Kim, 7 points, 3 for 4, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Leon Delmont, 20 points, 9 for 9 from the floor with 4 assists and a block. Tiatera, 1 offensive rebound, but 3 for 3 from the field, 7 points, 5 rebounds. On her way to a double-double if she keeps it up. Kasper Kusek, 3 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. Toivonen, a block, a rebound, and an assist. Hasn't taken a shot yet. Kinney getting it done with 3 assists and no turnovers. Akiak Pratt, a block, 2 assists, but 2 fouls. Narkissa, only 3 minutes on the floor, hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Switching on over to the West now, Silvius leading the way with 22 points, 9 for 13, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc with 4 steals and 2 blocks. Scooney is perfect from the floor, but not really producing with only 5 points and 2 rebounds. Daniel, also perfect from the floor, but he's not able to take as many shots thanks to Jake, 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Lawyer, 5 for 8 with 13 points and 2 steals and an assist. Krista Renstill, 1 for 5 from the field, 2 points, 2 assists. Julian, 2 for 4 with 6 points and 2 assists. Aditya, 2 for 7, struggling a bit, 4 points, 2 assists. And Adam Tavella, he hit a 3-pointer. That's it so far. Derby, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 offensive rebounds. Yves hit that 3 from beyond the arc. That's his only shot so far. And Marnu, 3 of 6, 6 points, and a steal, 3 for 5. Maxwell, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, giving her 4 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Like I said, I mean, we're already at 70, so all they have to do is score 30, both teams, and we cross the 100 mark here in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I would have to say that might be passed by the 8-minute mark.
Yeah. If
Maybe
they keep up the
sooner.
pace, and Scooney could drive in and slam it down from the 3-point line. And
yeah, what a way to pop this back up and tie a very thunderous dunk.
I was just mentioning he hasn't been very productive, but he answers that. Defense just had no one in the post to intercept him as Derek Kim with a little spin move, getting the bucket to fall. Again, the West have only really stayed in it because of the turnovers from the East. They need to start picking up their shooting or maybe turn up a little defenses. We're going to see a steal from Kim against Krista, and in transition, giving it to Turner, but it's blocked. DQ with his 3rd block here, all against Turner, I believe. The ball does go out of bounds, so the East will keep possession. Over to Kim on the inbound, matched up against Silvius right now. Over to Wildfire. Matched up against Krista, the Fox. He could outspeed her, but Derek, wide open from beyond the arc, is good. And you know, the West has had far more 3-pointers tonight. The East showing that they can do it too.
Yeah, I mean, even then, they're still up by a pretty decent margin. Silvius goes for 3 and knocks it down himself, cutting it back down to 2.
Yeah, a little tit for tat there. See if the East try and answer back with one of their own. Maybe give Wildfire or Griga a chance to pop one off. But it's going to be Kim from the top of the arc. Is good. Ooh. We are having a 3-point shootout again. Rematch of the finals. Let's go. Give it to Lawyer now. Let's see what he has to say about it.
You know, so might be able to see. Yeah, we get to see Lawyer with the rock this time. Let's see if he's actually going to pull it back.
Oh, they're doing this isolation here. He likes this matchup against Griga, but they give it back to Silvius. Shot clock starting to wind down. Takes the shot himself. No good. A bit of too much defense there to really get a clean shot. And Turner, left alone, pulls down the rim. I'm surprised that thing didn't shatter, considering how much force he decided to put behind that after being blocked earlier by DQ.
Well, we're trying to make sure that that glasses doesn't go everywhere. We have to have a delay a game to clean everything up. So,
and Lawyer, mid-range is no good, and the West giveth and then it taketh away. And Krista intercepting the ball would have been an easy bucket for Kim had he been able to get a hold of it. And Lawyer behind the back, and Tascuni for beyond the arc, no good. Turner playing point center if that's a thing, but another turnover for him, and Lawyer another opportunity here up against Sterling. Give it to Scooney for another three. So many three-point attempts from the Otter, and only one's worked here tonight. It's Kim finally putting some more points up, and just like that, the East have rebuilt that 10-point lead.
Do you feel like that Scooney is just yelling at all of the guards to just pass it to him in the 3 points so he can start trying to work on his threes this game?
I mean, he might be. I mean, they're also, like you said, take what you're given, and he's being given the three-point line for free. You know, it looks like they're going to make some substitutions to calm him down just a little bit from there. And Turner going to get some rest as well as they'll bring back in Toivonen. But Derby, God, Toivonen was not expecting that switch off there, so he had an easy lane to the basket.
Yeah, it's that veteran presence coming into play again, being able to try and outsmart your opponent with that experience.
Yeah, you know, Derby's not too old himself. I think he's been in the league as long as Turner, so 5 years. Over to Toivonen for three. None of power behind it.
I guess we're seeing a lot of the bigs just going for these threes now. You might see a three-point contest big first style.
Yeah, but a reach-in foul from Sterling, getting a little aggressive there with a Lawyer. Sterling with some quick pause of his own, but I don't think he was going to get the better of Lawyer. And Aditya trying to back it down, giving it to Krista. Christopher on the free throw line. Defense was right in her face, though.
Yeah, I think it might have got touched, too.
And Delmont back on the floor now. Give it to Toivonen. No one's there to guard him. He answers with a slam dunk. Now Delmont against Krista. Not a fun matchup for her considering the height disadvantage she's at. And actually she's going to get picked off by Kenny. And now he's one-on-one, but decides to back off, but goes for it in the end. And he slams it down. That's two back-to-back dunks for the East.
Yeah, I think she was trying to pass it over to Derby, but it ended up not going into her favor, getting turned over. There were way too many teams in blue.
Yeah, and it was Kenny, the snake, lost track of. And he was able just to reach in and steal it away. And a three-pointer there does keep this close. DeMarcus going to drive it, give it to Tiatera. Back out to Delmont.
Watch him go for the drive there, but instead he passes to Kusick.
Yeah, Kusick looked like he was on the break and called for it, but he steps in around the screen, and it's good. 15 feet out. That's his third shot here tonight, but 5 points for him. Aditya for three. No good that time. Tia with the rebound. Over to Kusick. This is good again. Kusick now picking it up. A little 2018 Rookie of the Year to Rookie of the Year action there. Now, I don't get to say it often as first ever co-Rookie of the Years between the two of them. And Aditya for three. That's the second time in a row now it's missed, and they're going to call a foul on Derby for over the back.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see JCK come in.
Yeah, and Kusick going to inbound the ball. And the East back up to 13-point lead. No real rush here. for Toivonen. Matched up against Derby. Going to fight his way, but gives it up to Tia. Back to Delmont. 5 seconds. He's got to make a shot attempt here. Driving to the paint. Gets by his defender and lays it up and in. Only a couple strides needed to go from the three-point line to the post like that. Carbonu for three. It is good. That's the first three-pointer for the West in a little while. Marcus with the rock himself. Behind the back pass. Toivonen for the slam dunk. What was that from you, Kenny?
That was just nothing but beauty at its finest. A beautiful pass with a ferocious dunk.
I thought Kenny was just going to slither out of bounds there, but that behind the back pass, I mean, that threw everyone off for a loop. As we're going to see an and one opportunity for Derby here with the bucket made, and it is good. But again, I think everyone's still focused on that Toivonen dunk and that excellent, excellent assist from Kenny. Getting fancy here, the East, with this lead. Delmont spin move off the glass. He's not even bothering to pass anymore. He's just trying to show off. Back to Aditya. Calling for the screen, but maybe going to go for three-point. No, he'll drive in, step back. This time it's good. If only those had been from behind the arc.
Yeah, right now they really need any kind of way to diminish this lead from the East.
Yeah, and if that's how they're going to defend the post, I don't think they're going to have much success, as Leon just gets by his defender and no one really gets in his way to the post once again. And now Carbonu behind the back, but no shot is made from that pass. But Julian from beyond the arc, no good.
Man, if someone passes it to you like that, you better be shooting.
Yeah, I mean, that is the ultimate setup. And again, Leon just going for a dunk, and we just missed them cross the 100-point mark. Now the West, 12 points needed to match that. And do the West start to get a little gun-shy here about taking bad shots? As Julian makes it to the post and fights between two players. Delmont going to get called for the foul, and Toivonen makes sure the ball doesn't make it to the basket.
Yeah, right. JCK probably did a lot of toughness going into that paint, going over two defenders like that.
Yeah, he's known for his three-point plays, but he can get it done from the post. I mean, he does play with Tate and Scooney. He gets a lot of practice with tough defenders in the post like that. And the East will call timeout here despite having a heck of a lead.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to get us a couple of substitutions in. As I said, we saw some of these players for quite a good bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of an overhaul on both sides, really.
Yeah, I could have a bit of a rest here, maybe. And passing over to Toivonen, who's going to get intercepted by Maxwell. Misha jumping up there.
Yeah, right now some good court awareness on Misha.
And Julian for a long two is good. Wish it was a three-pointer. They would have brought it back to a 10-point game.
Yeah, but right now they can take any other bucket they can get. As I said, they're only down by 11. If they can get a stop here, then we can probably have a little bit more of a game.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they start nailing threes again in the West, but without Silvius and Lawyer on the court, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to do that for the West. Kusick, long three off the iron, no good. This is their opportunity to cut it back down to a single-digit lead.
Yeah, they might possibly see if they can drive into the paint, which seems to be the case.
Yeah, and it works from the free throw line.
And I believe that was Misha Maxwell, the sole Vegas player.
Oh, there's a lot of soul players for a few of these teams here. Over to King DeMarcus from the right sideline. No good, but Tiatera putting it up and back.
Yeah, Tiatera, a woman who has really embraced her role as the starting big for the Tides.
Yeah, they apparently were ready to move on from Cassie. Is now Julian going up for the dunk. Answering back with one of his own.
Yeah, right now we get to see both teams ready to sub in something. We'll probably see that on the next timeout. Right now we get to see Toivonen once again taking advantage of that paint.
Yeah, I can't wait to look and see the stats for the East and compare them to the West in terms of points in the paint. I feel like the West has gone almost a third of their points from beyond the arc, if not more, as Aditya was missing earlier but makes it now.
Yeah, it took him a little bit of time to get cooking, but he's finally able to get that. I believe that's his first three as well. Well, maybe his second. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. That's his second three, but his like fourth or fifth attempt finally. Toivonen backing down again. He's just going to bully Scooney into the paint.
Yeah, well, Toivonen is the bigger body out of the two.
That he is, and that's a bit of a mismatch there. Aditya giving it over to Scooney for three again. He's just trying to put up them. He made one earlier. Maybe he's trying to replicate that rare success, but Tia down to Toivonen again. Now Toivonen stepping up for the East in the paint. And with 20 seconds left, the shot clock is turned off for the West.
Yeah, only need one more to break that 100.
Well, at this point, it's just pride wanting to not to. They're already behind by a significant margin. At least get it down to 10 with the acclimate being able to say you made it. Aditya made the buzzer beater last half, but unable to make it this time. So the West will stay at 99. The East 111. Whew. Now we got a question. Will the East break 150? And, of course, the assist of the game, that behind-the-back beautiful pass to Toivonen for the dunk. I mean, you say if you get a pass like that, you better score. You better score, especially on that. And back over to Sterling. It looks like both teams making some major substitutions.
Yeah, they're probably trying to look for that offensive power on the West especially.
And a jump ball situation, I think I know how this is going to go. It's going to be Kim going up against a little bit of a height disadvantage here, as Misha's going to tip it to Scooney. And Sylvia's back on the floor, as is Lawyer. So got to keep an eye out on the West if they start shooting. But stolen almost, but DQ picks it back up and slams it down. Oh, my Lord. Sterling, are you okay? It looked like he kicked him in the chest there going for that dunk.
Yeah, DQ's not playing games anymore. I think he's done with the team being down as low as it is.
I mean, if you're not making the shots, you might as well slam it down and make sure it goes in. And Turner now. Back to Kim. They're actually burning a lot of shot clock here. They've slowed the pace down, and Kim, long range does work out for him.
It's good to rattle home. They're only up by 12.
And this half, it's just been the West struggling to produce points compared to the East. I mean, by struggling, I mean they're shooting well, but Misha from beyond the arc, she had a chance there, but no good. Turner, just too difficult to get an offensive rebound against him. And Sterling on the post, going to dish it around back to Wildfire. Back to Turner, who answering back against DQ's dunk with one of his own with two paws and hanging on the rim for just a second there. Long enough to make a point, but not too long to cause a foul to be called. And Lawyer off the screen is good. Three-pointer.
We may need to see the three-point champion of this year start making some of that magic that he did during that event.
I mean, that 11-shot streak, he needs to pull that out here tonight in rapid succession. But again, DQ, that's his 4th or 5th block, I believe, against Turner. Jake is dominating, but Lawyer going into the paint this time in transition. Pass from Silvius.
Yeah, with that, the deficit's only down to 9.
I mean, that's what happens. A DQ struggling on offense, but he is getting it done on defense. And, I mean, you can't say he's containing Jake, but he is lessening him. And then again, with that, despite the hard foul.
And even DQ can't believe it. He's just like, come on, man.
I mean, he basically just about threw an elbow at the Fox's face, and he still managed to make it. I mean, if he went any harder, it would have been a flagrant 2 there. Krista now. She struggled a bit here tonight, and she's trying to fight her way into the paint. And of course, as I say that, she actually makes one work for her. But again, they're not chipping away at this lead if they're just making 2s here.
Yeah, they may have to like stack up the paint a little bit, because that's really where all of their scoring has been a part of. Then again, Wildfire is on the court.
Yeah, and Sterling giving it to Turner. DQ unable to get any kind of defense up there, and Turner just, he is not giving up or letting up as this game goes on, even with a lead. The West have no opportunity to really cut into it, and Silvius going over Turner with a step-back jumper.
And Silvius having a really good game tonight with 27 points.
And 12 coming from the paint as we see an alley-oop attempt to Kim. Or, sorry, Wildfire over Silvius's head. The Rabbit elevating over the Weasel. You don't see that often or expect it, but Lance can just get up there in a hurry. And Lawyer kind of shut him up a bit with a 3 there, keeping it single digits.
Even then, I don't think there's a way you can shut up a Rabbit just flying as up as he
over
just
jumping the
elevated.
Weasel. I mean, Silvius thought he was going to intercept the ball, but Lance came from behind and almost looked like he could have jumped over the Weasel from behind if he had wanted to.
And just showing the amount of leg strength that Wildfire has. It's just amazing.
I mean, yeah, imagine if he was, I mean, he is a dunk contest winner. There's a reason for that. Cam, long range 2, no good. DQ going to pull down the board. Down by 9, the West could chip away at this lead here, especially if they go for a 3. But almost intercepted, but Scooney over Sterling. Misses, though, despite having a bit of an opportunity there, even after collecting the tip pass.
Yeah, I could have taken that advantage. You have to capitalize on that.
And, well, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. They slowed him down. They burned some shot off the shot clock, but they double-teamed him in the post. They wanted DQ to be the one to challenge him, but Scooney was the one who grabbed and hold the ball. I think this is going to go the East pretty easily.
I mean, it'd be weird if it didn't.
Yeah, and of course, off the break, Kim just wide open. Easy shot for him. DQ could put a paw up, but too far away.
Right now, Silvia's trying to make some moves into the paint, but he pulls it back.
Lawyer, tough 3 is good.
Yeah, Lawyer just showing off that magic once again, and we're back down to 8, so within single digits once more.
Yeah, they need a stop against the East, though, especially if they keep passing the Turner, which the East have no reason not to at this point. He has not had issue making his way to the paint. And he almost tips it over Scooney. Scooney having to really fight there. Christopher me on the arc. Oh, she wanted that to fall so bad.
She really did, not being able to get it there. And here comes Banksing, taking his advantage by zooming into the paint.
Krista trying to answer back after that missed 3. That was her best opportunity for a bit of redemption. She struggled here a bit tonight, but Dare Kim has not given her any opportunities to take a clean shot. As she turns around, oh, a bad angle, bounces off the back of the iron. And quick pass to Sterling. That was a lightning pass, but again, Scooney actually able to impact the shot. And Lawyer in transition. He's usually money from here, but no good.
Yeah, might be a little bit too quick on that release. He's trying to find a way to help his team catch up.
Yeah, and Sterling going to get the offensive rebound off of Kim's miss, and it's good. And a little under 6 minutes left to go. East 128, West 116. And Silvius with the high arcing teardrop.
Right now, comparing the two starting point guards, you can see that Silvius had even more of has had more shot opportunities than Wildfire, but Wildfire has been able to take some good advantage on the shots that he's made.
That was a dangerous pass to Krista, but she's able to make it work again. The West can't get closer than 8 points, but the East hasn't been able to pull away.
Ooh, that was a good tip to cause a turnover there in Lawyer.
And Lawyer stepping in rather than taking the three-pointer, guaranteeing the make there. Down to 6 now.
Yeah, we got ourselves a little bit of a game going on as we get to the closing minutes of this game.
And Turner!
Ooh.
Oh, you think you're going to close in a lead there, and he just says, shut up, I'm not done scoring.
Oh, JCK has a little bit of a lane, and he's able to get the mid-range jumper.
Well, that was Krista, not JCK.
Oh, Cresta, excuse me.
Yeah, I think they're going to leave all the starters out for the most part for both teams in the final minutes. As the East have a slight lead, but it could evaporate in an instant if the West can make some threes. As Lance is able to get the foul over Silvius with the bucket, and one opportunity.
And you can see the frustration in Sylvia. He just like flailed his arms around a little bit.
Well, again, it looked like the rabbit was almost bouncing off of him. It didn't seem to affect him. Now Sylvia's trying to answer back, but it gives it to Lawyer for 3, who is still on fire.
Yeah. Right now it seems like they have to play the 3-point contest game throughout these closing minutes.
Oh, Scooney. He tried to help out the defense because it looked like Lance was going to have a free shot, but that just opened Sterling up for a hard dunk.
And you see the crowd erupting a little bit here on that regard.
I mean, can you blame them? It has been a dunk fest here tonight. Cresta with the pump fake and the shot. Oh, not going to fall, though, but she will go to the line for 2. So the West have been perfect from the free throw line, but they haven't been here often. A big stop needed here. Lance for 3. Off the back iron. Lawyer going to bring it up. Watch out for him shooting in transition if he gets an open look.
Getting seeing a lot of passing right now, and Silvius tries to make the shot, but not able to get it down.
Yeah, that was a poor shot over Turner. I don't think he stood much of a chance. As in transition, Sterling from the free throw line is good. And just look at those field goal percentages. 75% for the East. And the West will call timeout.
Yeah, they're going to have to discuss on what to be able to do to be able to at least tie this game up. As stated before, probably the reason why the field goal percentage is so high for the East is because they have been taking advantage of the paint all night long.
I mean, that's very true. You shoot much higher percentage from close range, and like you said, 20-plus points from Silvius down, or Leon down low, and actually Silvius going to lose the ball. Kim That's a horrible. That might be the nail in the coffin there, especially with Lance shooting so early, and they put it back to a 10-point lead here with only 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be game here, considering the fact that it's a 10-point lead with only 2 minutes left of the game. Unless they just keep passing it to Laurier and have him shoot up a whole bunch of threes, I don't think there's going to be a lot much for the West to come back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, they could shoot a quick three, get a stop, but again, now Kim just stealing the ball, and we'll see if they even bother shooting, but they... Quick pass is low. Oh, wow, Lance in the post. That was a quick triangle play, and Lance up to 20 now here. Getting it done from everywhere. 10 points in the paint and 10 from mid the three-point range.
Yeah, at this point, it's just the West just shooting for pride. Let's see if we can see if they can at least make it at least closer than what it is, but in and out for Silvius.
Yeah, ring around the rim before rolling out there. And Lance with the ball, giving up to Turner. Turner getting a little bit last-minute matchup against DQ. He doesn't have many more opportunities of this, but he gives it to Lance, who came out of nowhere from behind the post, and we're up to 143 now.
Yeah, as you said earlier in the game, double-teaming Jake Turner gives a lot of open space for many players, and considering that the East, that this is the All-Star game, many of those stars are going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, every player on the court right now you cannot leave open. As Silvius only 5 shots from beyond the arc, but pulling up 31 points. But again, with only 40 seconds left, I think the East are just going to wind down the clock and just hurl up a shot. And maybe give it to Lance here. So he calls for the screen, gets around his defender, spots up, no good, and see if the West decide to give it to one of the players who maybe hasn't scored much here tonight to see if they can get something put up. Scooney, nice pump fake. It actually gets around Sterling there. Sterling bit extremely hard trying to block him, and the West will give a half-hearted full-court press attempt, but down by 10 with only 20 seconds. And actually, Chris got to get the steal. I am so... Jake just... I don't even think he had to jump for that block. He sent it flying, thankfully, into the basketball goal rather than one of the poor photographers in the front row. And, yeah, both teams made major substitutions, bringing out their reserves. But, again, just going to let them try and get one more shot up maybe, or maybe the East will respect the West and hold on to the ball here and just let them only lose by 10 points.
And this seems to be the case here. So,
wow, high-scoring game. Of course, the East players are starting to celebrate now.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild game. Seeing some very creative flashes of dunks, passes, 3 points. It was a fun game to watch.
Some scary blocks. And looking over the players real fast, Sterling 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 for 12 from the field, shooting very well. Jake Turner, 17 rebounds there, 7 assists, almost on his way to a triple-double despite 8 turnovers, 23 points and 3 blocks. Lance Wildfire, 22 points, 6 assists, and a steal, 10 for 16. Getting it done from inside the paint, too. Only 1 3-pointer for him. Griga, 1 rebound, 5 assists. Derek Kim also putting up 22 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 9 for 13. Eric Toivonen, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 5 for 6. Tia Terra, perfect, but she just missed out for a double-double because of that 1 missed free throw. Kasper Kusic, 7 points, 2 assists, a steal, and a rebound. DeMarcus only took 1 shot, but 5 assists and a steal. Delmont, perfect from the floor, 14 for 14, 30 points. Ball hogged it when he was on the floor, considering he was only there for 14 minutes, but 6 assists and a block. Cassius didn't take a shot and had a turnover in her 7 minutes. And Akiak Pratt, 2 assists, a block, and he missed his 1 3-pointer. And switching on over to the West, Scooney, 9 points, 5 rebounds, shut down by Sterling. Silvius, 31 points, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Took 20 shots, only hit 13 of them. Laurier, 7 for 10 from beyond the arc, the 3-point champion, showing that he is serious about that and deserved that reward. 29 points total, 3 steals, 3 assists. Daniel Kruvianik, 4 points, only 2 shots against Turner. one of them being a huge dunk, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, but 4 blocks, all of them against Jake. Krista, 10 points, 4 for 12 from the field with 3 steals and 5 assists. Aditya, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 for 13. Tavella, 3 points, 1 rebound, and that 3 points coming from a three-pointer. Julian Cross-Curarli, 12 points, 3 assists, 4 for 7. Derby, 2 for 2, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 of his rebounds being offensive. Yves, perfect from beyond the arc, 2 for 2. Could have probably shot a few more times, but he was really looking for good shots. 6 points for him. Maxwell, 6 points as well, 3 assists, a rebound, and a steal, 2 for 4. Francois Martineau, 6 points, 3 assists, a steal, 3 for 6 from the floor. And switching on over to, I guess we could look at the team comparison. Just look at, so that first quarter was extremely close despite the field goal percentage disparity.
Yeah, as I said before, pretty much the East were all about the paint. That seems like their only thing is just getting into the paint and just laying it up in it. That's literally their entire offense. But
yeah, we're about to look and see the full game. I'm gonna look at the stats and see how the whole game ran for them in terms of points in the paint. But it looks like 86 of their 143 were points from the paint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a lot. I mean, the West put up 54 themselves, but that was less than half. Whereas for the East, it was more than half. And really, the only stat that the West can go home proud of is their three-point shooting and their steals. Everything else really was the way of the East here tonight. 75% field goal percentage, again, coming in from so many shots inside the paint. I mean, they more assists, more points off the bench. Fast break points, there was just too much speed going on.
And you got to give props to Leon Delmont. Even though that he was a bench player, he made his mark in this game, being perfect from the field. It just seemed like he was the only player that actually took the game as serious as an actual game, it seems.
Yeah, and I mean, it may have been him coming off the bench. The matchups he was facing were maybe a little bit below his level, or maybe just him showing off here tonight. Because again, perhaps a little upset about the dunk contest, not participating this year and seeing how that went, or the fact that the frustration of having to play a shooting guard spot while wanting to be a point guard. But we'll see how that all turns out, considering a lot of these players, like I said, will be going into free agency at the end of the season, and we could see another shift in terms of talent. Maybe some of the West players heading to the East, maybe an Eastern player defecting back to the West. Who knows? So many high talent players are going into the free agency this offseason.
Yeah, but even before then, we're going to have to start going into the main focus, which is the playoffs. And there's going to be a lot of interesting talks going on, especially when it comes to the West and the East, considering who's going to be able to stop Dakota, because Dakota hasn't took their foot off the gas since winning last year, and who's going to be the main team coming out for the East, because there's plenty of talented teams that are ready to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Biloxi Voodoo finalists last year, but now we've seen Plymouth skyrocket with the addition of the talent and the rookies. They themselves are looking competitive, and like you said, Dakota looking very strong from the West, possibly going for a repeat championship here, but you can't count anyone out of the West, especially considering I think the Western Conference has a much better chance of sending 8 winning record teams, whereas the East, I think we'll be lucky to see 5 winning records.
Yeah, that is true. As I said before, at the beginning of the game, the Western pool talent is probably much more wider, even though the final scores for both the rookie All-Star games and the All-Star game itself that we've just ended otherwise. But still, it's definitely a very interesting thing. You can really put your name in for anyone out West to make it to the finals. While for the East, you can pretty much pick a few teams that have a pretty strong opportunity to make it out into the finals and being able to represent their conference in the finals.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly think that anyone from the West could end up going to the finals, and even some of the players fighting for that eighth seed, you could argue, could be a threat to Dakota. And then for the East, it's really I think most people's hats are in Bangor, Williamsburg, Plymouth, Biloxi, or Baltimore. Those are the 5 teams that stand the best chance. And if you're a fan of the East, you're gonna have to pick one eventually, and it's going to be tough to say because they're all within striking distance of each other, and whoever gets that 1 seed will have the easiest road to the finals.
Yep.
But I think that's going to wrap it up here tonight. We have lots of sports things coming up still, so we got to save our voices.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll see
boy.
Jake Turner not too long playing against San Jose. So that will be a fun game, but I think first we will see Seattle versus Williamsburg next. So keep an eye out for that next sports den. I've been Ryan Eastman. Thank you all for out there for tuning in, and thank you, Marcus, for finally showing up.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm sorry that I had some family business to take care of.
Yeah, and next thing I know, you're gonna have a big Baylor baller T-shirt line going out.
Nah, we're not that self-centered.
You say that, but you weren't here yesterday. You were family business and
Hey,
the
man,
Baylor.
let me live my life.
Okay. We'll see you all very shortly, in fact. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.